Hello students, today we will do the last poem from your poetry section of Hornbill. The poem's name is Father to Son. It was written by Elizabeth Jennings. Elizabeth Jennings was a poet who was born in 1926 in Boston, Lincolnshire. She wrote poems with strong logic, emotional sensitivity. The poems had no vagueness, a clarity of ideas, and there was very less decoration in her work. She paid special attention to form, rhyme and meter. The theme of this poem is the troubled relationship between a father and his son, and how the father laments that he is not able to rebuild the relationship despite wanting fervently. There is a generation gap that is being talked about, and there is also lack of effective communication. There is also described in the poem the pain and helplessness of the father in developing that relationship. This poem very effectively tells us about the father and son relationship that we all go through. Let's read the poem first. Father to son. I do not understand this child, though we have lived together now in the same house for years. I know nothing of him. So try to build upon a relationship from how he was when small. Yet, have I killed the seed I spent or sown it where? The land is his and none of mine? We speak like strangers. There's no sign of understanding in the air. The child is built to my design. Yet, what he loves I cannot share. Silence surrounds us. I would have him prodigal, returning to his father's house, the home he knew, rather than see him make and move his world. I would forgive him too, shaping from sorrow a new love. Father and son, we both must live on the same globe and the same land. He speaks, I cannot understand myself. Why anger grows from grief? We each put out an empty hand, longing for something to forgive. The father says that though they live in the same house, they don't understand each other at all. He's trying to build a relationship from when the son was a small child, a toddler, when he was learning to walk and crawl. He does not understand the child has grown up, or maybe he has lost the time when he was growing up. He has not been with his son in his growth. And then he says that he wonders if he is himself responsible for killing the son's personality, which is now different from what he expected. He says that they resemble each other, yet the son is altogether different. There are no common interests. They cannot share each other. There is a lack of understanding and there is complete utter silence. Then he says that he regrets this lack of communication and understanding. There are no common interests. The father wishes that the son will come back and live with him and not move away from him. He says that we share the same land. We should both live on the same land. Yet, they are not able to change the relationship. Both of them want to change it, but they are not able to. He admits that his grief on such failure changes to anger when he meets his son. They shake their hands, they try to talk to each other, but they don't know about what they should talk, and they are helpless to build a harmonious relationship. He regrets their talking like strangers and lack of understanding. He also feels that they should live together. Here is a father who feels the extreme pain of his son's detachment from him. As we grow up, we build our own lives. We are different from our parents, but the parents don't understand. They expect them to be like us, like them, and thus the gap widens up. Father understands the son as a child, but the son is already beginning to consider himself an individual, a grown-up. So he is baffled. There is a lot of space between the father and son which is not covered with harmony. Will they ever come together? The father feels helpless because he has not been able to understand his son's emotional growth. He does not understand why he has different interests. He is just willing to forgive him. He does not want to let him go and move and see the world. He wants him to remain with him. That's a parent's love for the child. They don't want us to suffer. The parent doesn't want the child to suffer. They want them to be in the home, safe and sound, in the front of their eyes. Ultimately, the poem ends without any solution for the problem that the father is lamenting. It is left hanging, the question is still left hanging. There are a few literary devices used in the poem. First is the irony. Irony is discordance, when words express something else, but there is a hidden meaning behind it. See, though we have lived together in the same house, someone who has lived together in the same house must be talking to each other, must be having communication, but they are lacking it. They don't understand each other at all. Then there is a metaphor, that is an implied comparison. The seed I spent or sown. He considers the son his own seed and he compares it to the seed. He doesn't understand whether he has sown it in a good land or a bad land, and that land is not his to share. Then the prodigal son reference is there, that is from the Bible, where the son spent all his money and came back to the father, and he was forgiven. Then there is alliteration, that is the repeated use of letters for effective music. Seed I spent or sown and silence surrounds us are the examples.